My name is Razia Siddiqui and I'm a member of the Center for Peace and Spirituality. I'd like to share some thoughts about God consciousness. Jim Corbett, as we all know, was a legendary British hunter. He authored the famous book titled Man-Eaters of Kumaon. This book details the experiences that Corbett had in the Kumaon region from the 1900s till the 1930s, while he hunted the man-eating tigers and leopards. In one such instance, he observes the dreadfulness of the tiger in the following words. He says that the mere proximity of a tiger in daylight, even when it has not seen you, causes a disturbance in the bloodstream. When the tiger is not an ordinary one, but a man-eater, and the time is 10 o'clock on a dark night, and you know the man-eater is watching you, the disturbance in the bloodstream becomes a storm. This storm in the bloodstream is due to the fear of the tiger. Fear of the same kind is also an attribute of a true believer of God. There is a verse in the Quran in this regard. True believers are those whose hearts tremble with awe at the mention of God. Both the fear of the tiger and the fear of God appear to be the same, but there is a qualitative difference between the two. The fear of a tiger is a negative fear, while the fear of God is a totally positive fear. The fear of tiger has no positive aspect, while the fear of God is positive in the greatest sense of the word. Fear of tiger is fear of an animal that can only harm us, while fear of God is the fear of a being that can bestow all kinds of favor on us. Tiger's fear is fear for the sake of fear, while the fear of God is for the sake of salvation, for the sake of paradise, and for the sake of eternal blessings of God Almighty. The fear of God is fear only in form, but in spirit, it is a high kind of love and a high kind of affection. Fear of God is full of hope. It gives you high motivation for doing good works, so that we may get selected for being settled in paradise, the eternal perfect world of God. God Almighty is the treasure house of all kinds of blessings. He is the only giver. At the same time, He is Arhamur Rahimin, that is, the most merciful of the merciful. We often come across people who say that if God is so merciful, then why be afraid of Him? If children are afraid of their parents, does it make the parents any less loving of their children? No, it does not. It is but natural for one who discovers God with all His high attributes to become filled with feelings of love for Him. At the same time, he would realize that God is the greatest, the all-powerful, and the Lord of everything. The combination of these two sentiments, the love for God and the realization of God's greatness, manifest in a unique form. All the words of the dictionary fall short of expressing this sentiment. This sentiment is full of affection, and at the same time, it is full of awe. In human language, it is impossible to find a word that can express this noble spirit. This spirit is fear in its appearance, but love in its inner content. This is the highest stage of faith in God. In God consciousness is the highest form of man's sentimental expression. When a person reaches this level of consciousness, he is so overwhelmed by his feelings that he forgets all words from his memory. If he tries to express this in the word love, he finds the feeling is also full of fear. And when he tries to express it in the word fear, he finds that it is also full of love. In the dictionary of inner feelings, it is a completely known experience. But as far as words are concerned, there is no word in any dictionary that can fully express this sublime sentiment.